YCN segment is brought to you by New London Hospital, an affiliate of Dartmouth Hitchcock.
Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Renaissance Shop in New London, associated with the Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice. Joining me now is author Ann Sarkisian, who is the author of Toxic Staple, a book that investigates gluten intolerance, which resides in many of us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the difference between celiac disease and a gluten intolerance.
Well, the main focus seems to have been on celiac disease the last umpteen years. And to have celiac, you need to have a genetic predisposition, you need to be consuming gluten, and you most likely will have a gut biome that is out of whack, meaning your intestines, the condition is not very healthy down
Right, the
there.
floor is all off, etc.
Right.
Okay.
And normally speaking, you would be diagnosed with a biopsy, but the biopsies sometimes are false negative. So
interesting.
What it does is it destroys your villi, the little hairs in your gut that absorb the nutrients.
Yes.
And because of that, it can affect any part of your body, from your brain, your muscles, the fetus, you know, your toenails. I mean,
right.
hangnails can get better if you take gluten out of your diet.
Right.
But you can also develop nasty ailments such as liver disease, which could turn around and resolve.
Sure. And that's nice when you resolve the gluten problem.
When you get finally figure it out.
Now, how is that different from gluten intolerance?
Well, if you're gluten intolerant, your villi, those little hairs, are not affected.
Okay.
And I really think they're setting the bar kind of high when they do the testing.
I see.
So in order to be positive for celiac, you're very compromised. And those people that are falling somewhat under that bar may have some antibodies going on, but they're not paying much attention to that.
I see.
So if you come within 0 and 20, they say you don't have a problem. If you test over 20, you have celiac.
Yeah, okay.
Followed up with a biopsy.
I see. So how would you detect that if you didn't go and have a test? So how would you detect your gluten intolerance minus the test?
There are some tests that my family, except for my really sick grandkid, were all negative on the blood tests. And I heard about Dr. Fine, who does a stool test. It's very sensitive. It picked it up in all of us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be an alternative testing method if you feel that you have it.
And it really doesn't matter, according to some doctors, if you have celiac. What matters is, are you intolerant to gluten?
Right.
If you are, get it out of your diet and never consume it again.
And what would be some of the issues people would look for if they felt that it possibly was gluten?
Well, fatigue is a big one. You can have reflux. You can have all kinds of stomach issues, intestinal issues, headaches, migraines, women's issues. There was just a terrible story on the front page of the Globe of a woman who died shortly after giving birth, and I expect she would have been gluten intolerant just from some of the symptoms that were going on, and they don't look at this. Everybody needs to be tested for this, but it will never happen because we're really not about health care.
Right.
We're about sick care.
Right. It's
in America.
True. Yeah, and some of those points pointed out in your book, is it different than some of the other books based around gluten?
Well, my book goes into major research and testing.
Good. Okay.
Testing that will very likely, I'd say close to 100%, get you an answer if you're intolerant to gluten.
Good. That's excellent because people are looking for answers.
Right, and they're not getting them from their doctors. Many doctors are telling people you don't have this issue, and you can still keep eating gluten, and they're still sick.
Right. So what can we do to help? What can the public do to get more aware and to help advocate for themselves?
Well, I would say they should read my book, of course.
Of course.
But and you know, I'm just a very annoyed, driven grandmother, and very disgruntled with mainstream medicine. And you really have to educate yourself. You have to become your own advocate.
Right.
You have to know what tests to request.
Yeah.
And if those blood tests are negative, don't jump for joy until you do the stool test.
Until you do a couple more tests.
Yeah. And
well, I think part of advocating for yourself is educating. And by reading something like your book, you can at least start getting educated in the topic. So,
well, and the doctors need to be educated on this. And there's very
but
little
until that
happening.
happens, you need to really be your own advocate, it sounds
Absolutely.
like. So, great. Well, good. Well, this is available online. We've got your information up on the screen with the website. And at local bookstores, I see that it won one of the New England Book Awards, which is super. So
it won 4, actually.
Should be in many of the local bookstores. Well, thanks for your information. This is a great starting point for a lot of people who do think they may have the sensitivity.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.